I'm going to be quite honest. Looking back right now, I have a couple of regrets. I wouldn't have been so lost or stuck if that I know what I know now. Let's circle back to when we were kids. Let's circle back to when we were kids. Say I had the gift of drumming. I did not actually need a drum to start drumming. Then I actually need a drum to find who I am. I just laid cans around the house to play with, and boom, I started drawing. Same thing with the kid that notices things. You do not need logistics money to notice the flowers that bloom around the house, or the plants that are producing the new leaves that are generated in flowers around the house. It, I'm just trying to say you do not need too much to discover yourself and be who you were in the past. But right now, as someone with access, someone that has been exposed to a lot of things, a lot of lies, and a lot of I would say tools. At some point, you tend to dwell on the fact that you lack those tools, and that's why you've not been able to do stuff. I will use myself as an example always, because most times this is me just thinking out loud. Prior to this time, I needed the camera. Right? I have worked before. That's different. Prior to this time, I needed a camera, for filmmaking, to do some other stuff. But and so far with me kept on dwelling on the fact that I need the camera, that as soon as I get the camera, things are going to change for me creatively. Yes, things are going to change for me creatively, but what have I done with my my design, my DNA? Let me put it that way: my design, my DNA. You know, nowadays when I get stuck, I circle back and ask myself this question: that who was I before the extras? Who was I in from the extras? I was the kid that would make faces out of cracks in the wall just by looking at it. I was a kid that would make up things and design things in the house out of scrap. I had a comic book and that I made myself, which was from just pen and one of my notebooks, my past 10 notebooks in school. Things as little as that. Now, as someone that has been exposed with a lot of access to know what other people are doing stuff, I would always say, oh, I do not have baits. Oh, I do not have canvas. I do not have this, I do not have that. Like recently, I was thinking about ways to market my work. And, you know, I really didn't want to market my work in sense, but I wanted galleries to help me handle that part of the process. But it turns out that the acceptance rate for most galleries is quite low, and I don't think I'll be able to wait for that, right? So I was not talking to myself. So I had like a sip and had like conversation with myself. Oh, how am I supposed to do this? And my mind was already leading me to avenues that require a shit ton of money. Getting to be part of a membership club, right? And from there, probably rating the space for exhibitions, creating a community around there, which is a way to go, but it sounds like an expensive way to go, and that might be another obstacle. So I had to take out that obstacle. I had to talk to myself. I said something. I was like, Dave, you're crazy, right? So create something. So my mind kept on thinking and circling and circling and circling. Then I've asked myself, what is the importance of the galleries? And what is the importance of your art? What do you want to use your art to do? The main uh the main thing I want to use my art for is just to spread the message. Spread the message around global sustainability, message around and you know humanity, messages around being happy, and I'm like, oh. And at the end of the day, what do galleries give you? They give me platform. That's what the galleries give me, a platform for expression. I was like, okay, you have the internet. How about you find a way to tell your message to the world using the internet? Access the internet just costs data, just costs internet subscription, which will not be as expensive as being part of the membership club, and also renting spaces for exhibitions, which will require media publications, printing of flyers, probably printing of media publications, printing of materials, running of bands, and like the level of expenses go on. Yes, do I still? Yes, I fancy the gallery environment. I fancy the gallery audience, but the internet, the World Wide Web, as it is called, World Wide Web, is like a bigger platform given and carve out ways to tell my story and make people listen. So I just told myself that who was I before the extras? Who was I before the people? And that's what I want people to see. Right? And that was my watchword. And I looked for any way to get my message across, because the World Wide Web, which is less expensive. Do I still want to use the gallery spaces later? Yes. When I have the resources to do that, I will do that. When I get the opportunity and the avenue to do that, I will do that. But I just have to focus on who I am without the extras, who I am without the camera, who I am without the brush, who I am a creative person. Someone who has loud voice and want the world to hear what he has to say, right? And that's what I'm doing on. And with that way, I became unstuck. With that way, I also became happy. Let me put it that way, because emotion, to be honest, motion has a way of bringing happiness. And when there's no motion, the chances of one getting depressed increases, right? And have been stuck, not being stuck, feeling that there's no way, to move ahead, would lead to a very sour mood, feeling like, oh, there's nothing I can do to get myself out of this situation. It leads to a very sour mood, and that's not what I want for myself. And answering that question and identifying who I am, who I was, without the extras, without all this, before I even knew that things like this existed, I have been able to get unstuck and be able to be happy, right? And have hope that there are chances, there's hope and chances for me to get to my destination using my default gates. So I usually share things like this just to, help anybody out there who's trying to do stuff. And you just don't necessarily have to be a crazy person. To be honest, everybody are creative people. Everyone is a creative person. But you just have to ask yourself this question: who am I? Who I was? Who was I, brother, before all these textrams? Who was I before I even knew that all these things existed? Am I someone who choose who has a lot of love to give? I'll give a lot of love. Am I someone who loves to cater for people? Yes, I'm not out of medical school yet. I'm not even in medical school yet, but I love to care for people and find ways to care for people, probably in community standard. Tackling being stuck with things like this, not telling yourself that your solution is only based on the external. Also, tell yourself that you can actually, solve whatever it is by looking inwardly and identifying your strengths. That's literally one way to go. That's we are being about being unstuck and finding happiness these days. I hope I was able to, hit home for some people, and I will like cut it here so it doesn't come too much and or continue doing what I have to do. I will see you probably in the next video. Of course, the next video should be alive by then. Please, I love you for sticking with the end of this video. You're the real MVP.